I want to start with an example from the book, and this is going to sound like a Dr. Seuss book, and maybe it should be. This would make a good children's book, maybe, if any of you are creatives. And I believe this is somewhere in an island in the South Pacific, and the people are called the Hu, Hua. The people of Hu believed in the principle of Nu, N-U. And the principle of Nu was life-giving substance. And in this culture, men were perceived as being dry, and women were perceived as being damp or wet. Obviously, dry is more attractive, and women gain strength through sex because they are dried out by the male, and women are weak, and men are weakened by sexual congress because they are dampened by the female. Fascinating. So here's a culture where you have women craving sex or desiring sex in order to dry out their souls, or this principle, and you have men trying to avoid any contact with women because they don't want to be dampened or feminized. The young men in this tribe would all live in a big longhouse because they didn't want to be associated with women. They would eat foods associated with dryness, like dried fish, jerky, nuts, seeds, salty, dried out things, liver. Okay. And the women, of course, things like fruits and vegetables and sauces, and that is going to add to the dampness in your life. So you want to avoid the damp things that will dampen you, like, I suppose, sex, drugs, and rock and roll and rich foods. And you want to appeal to those things that dry you out. And at least philosophically speaking, I suppose that would be things like theology, mathematics, philosophy would dry out your soul, as opposed to other disciplines which might dampen you. The only women allowed in the longhouse were those who were past their monthly cycle, because as women get older, they get drier. And so post-childbearing women could hang out with the young men, but young childbearing age women could not. Now, if a man did take a wife and lived with her, what would happen is the dampness of the woman and the dryness of the man would kind of move to the center, so the woman would become drier and the man would become moister. I mean, look at me, for heaven's sakes. When I was your age, I looked like a jackrabbit. I was skinny, I had leathery skin. Now I've been so dampened, I just feel so feminized in my culture. And maybe it's because I've been enjoying those things that tend towards dampness as opposed to dryness in life. Any other comments or questions about this? Would be a great ethic to write out, the ethic of dryness. It would also make a good antiperspirant or deodorant commercial, I think. The people of Hu and the principle of Nu. Just be dry, baby. It's the goal of the culture.